Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tying a very special fly. This is the fly that I swung my first steelhead on ever. This is the river rat squid. One I was swinging at the time was one I bought from a fly shop, but it was this exact color pattern. We're going to be tying a variation of it just for more fun. This is a popular one that I tied up last night. We're going to be going for a shrimpy sunsetty version of it. We are going to start with some crinkle flash. So we are going to tie in, I don't know, it's probably 15 pieces or so. I like to go pretty heavy with that. And you could see the way I cut it off. It's all in varied lengths, which is actually how I like it. I like to just push down on the top so that it kind of rolls to each side and then wrap it all forward. Now that that's in there, we're just going to take our scissors and cut the ones that are too long. So 1/2 inch past the length of the hook should be the longest ones. And if you have some ending before that, that's fine. Now that you've done that, you're going to take your first marabou feather. Select 3 colors of your choice. Take whichever one you want first, and that's going to be at the back of the fly. I'm going to go with this apricot. Because of the fact that we're using 3 marabou feathers, I'm actually going to strip these down so that they're basically just the tips of the feathers. Tie that in by the tip. Now there aren't actually any tutorials for how to tie this fly, so I'm basically going off of my interpretation of this fly from what I remember it being. The cool thing about this is we're going to actually you're going to need 3 mallard feathers, and we are going to palmer those up. It ends up looking really shrimpy and buggy. That's actually going to act as some of the prop for the marabou. So we'll pull away one side, tie that in, wrap it forward. For the body, we're going to take some laser dub shrimp. Then we're going to wax our thread. We are going to spin this directly onto the thread. And the best way to wrap this up is do one wrap and then have the next one go over the same spot and then twist again, slightly in front and then over the same spot. It just helps to keep it in place so it doesn't unravel since it just spun on there. And then that is going to be perfect. We're going to work first our mallard forward. We are going to bring that around. Perfect. There's basically 3 stages of this fly, so we're going to do this process about 3 times. Capture that down, trim the stem, a few tight wraps just so it doesn't pull out. Pull those fibers forward, because now what we're going to do is we're going to take our marabou and we're going to spin it up right in front of each of those wraps of mallard. So we're going to spin it up and then pull it out. As I'm doing it, I'll just go in with a bodkin and pick out everything so I'm not laying everything down. It should be wrapped in front of each other, so all the fibers of the mallard and the marabou are free flowing. They shouldn't just be trapping each other down. Capture that down, a few tight wraps, trim the stem. Now we're going to repeat that process with our next color. So I'm going to go for yellow. Less is more with this when you're wrapping up 3 individual marabou feathers. Capture that down and go for our second piece of mallard. Pull those fibers back. Prepare the feather, and then we're going to tie it in by the tip. It wraps, run it forward to about the place where you're going to tie in your next amount of dubbing. It's going to be about there. Now back in with the dubbing towards the front of the fly, because now that we have marabou on there, it just sticks to everything like a magnet, especially this wax. Back, start spinning that up. You just captured that forward. Oh, again, mallard goes first. Capture that down. Same step as before, pull that all forward directly in front of the wraps of mallard. Sometimes it's easier too to just spin it all the way up. And you can go back through and pick out whatever got trapped. We're going to capture that marabou stem down, pick out any fibers that got trapped down. It's pretty easy. All right, final iteration, some shell pink marabou. Now, judging on how much you used in the back, this section might end up being a little bit longer or shorter, but I like to end it about where the return eye on the hook comes back to. That gives me some room to wrap up the marabou, capture it, wrap up the mallard, capture it, and then still have a nice clean head. Our final piece of mallard. Tie that down, strip 1/2 away. Wax. Now we've got that final bit of dubbing spun up. We are going to wrap up the mallard for the last time. Clear the way for the marabou, wrap that up right in front of your mallard wraps. Blow it forward and pick out everything that got trapped that time. Specific color was more freestyled. I haven't done this one before, but I really like the way that this came out. And now to finish it up, we are going to take one final mallard feather, Same thing we were doing before. We're gonna strip away half of it. We're gonna tie that in. I like to actually tie it forward and back, and then trim this. It's really easy to pull feathers out when you're trying to tie them in as collars. Then just wrap it. With that one side, it's already naturally gonna fall a certain direction, so just wrap it up so that that falls back over the body of the fly. A few tight wraps. And then I'm using a bit of a hotter colored thread. This is like a pink colored thread, so I'm gonna build a little bit of a head on purpose. Small, yet effective focal point at the front of the fly. Whip finish. Then either varnish or go ahead and throw some UV resin over that hot spot. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, the river rat squid. Be sure to subscribe down below for more tying videos and more swinging videos. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Later.